Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's get started with a little warm-up. We'll do some two voice and start with the plaintiff attorney. Ready? Here we go. Did you ever work with him? Yes, I did. And did you work as a team when you worked with him? Yes. And was that in refuse collection? Yes. And how long approximately did you work with him as a team member? Approximately 4 months. So as of November 21, you were working with him then, is that right? Would you say that again? Sure, as of November 21, you were not working with Mr. King as a team member. You mean on the day of the accident? That's right. We worked as a team. You did work as a team on the day of the accident? Yes. Were you in the vehicle he was in at the time of this accident? No, I wasn't. You were in a different vehicle, is that right? Yes. All right. Have you ever seen Mr. King socially? No. Did you ever go out to dinner or go out and have a drink together or meet at his home or anything? No. When was the last time you saw Joe King? I am not sure. He transferred to a different yard. He was working with me in my section, but he transferred about 2 months ago. You haven't seen him for the last 2 months? No, I haven't. Have you ever talked to him within the last 2 months? No, I haven't. You do not personally see Mr. King on a social basis. Is that correct? That is correct. You never have. Is that correct? Never have. All right. Do you have a friend or acquaintance that does meet with Mr. King on a social basis? Well, I am a supervisor and I know a lot of people. I don't know who they meet on a social basis, but do you know or of anyone in particular? Can you give me the name of anyone that you know that meets with Mr. King on a social basis? No. You were not Mr. King's supervisor on the date of this accident, were you? No. Did you ever talk with Joe King at any time after the accident about the accident? I asked him about the accident, sure. Okay, do you remember the first time you asked him about the accident? The next time I saw him, I suppose, I guess it was as soon as he got to the yard. Would that be on the day of the accident? Yes. You said you asked him about it, is that right? Yes. What do you mean by that? What did you ask him specifically? I wanted to know what did happen, you know. You did not personally see the accident? I saw the accident. You did see the accident. I knew it was an accident. You knew it was an accident? Right. Did you actually see the two vehicles involved in this accident collide? Yes, I did. How many times have you discussed this accident with Mr. King? Once. All right, now for some four voice practice. And we will start with the defense attorney. Ready? Did you ever bring that to Mr. Tyrell's attention? I don't think so because I didn't use Tyrell after that incident, after the October 28, 2005 case was disposed of. Yeah, I think I talked to him once after that about the Lake Paris incident but I didn't retain him. What was the disposition or result of that arrest? It hasn't been resolved yet. Still pending before the court? Yeah. Who's representing you in that matter? Probably going to be myself or a public defender. You're presently unrepresented? No. Who is representing you now? Myself. Did you bring to the court's attention the fact that there appeared to be some confusion as to you serving your weekends at Banning? No. Have you brought it to anyone's attention other than Mr. Buford? No. Now at the criminal courthouse during the proceedings where the plea, let's erase that whole crazy question, getting late in the day. At the criminal proceedings when the plea bargain was made, do you recall signing an additional agreement between yourself and Mrs. Pretzel? You mean as as to regards to what I would do for restitution? Yes, yes. All right, let me show you a document that will attach and identify to the deposition as Exhibit 4. We'll make a 4 on the back of that for the court reporter's benefit. It's a 3-page document. Would you take a look at that, please? Yeah, this looks familiar, but it seems to be the same document. I see my signature there. Does Exhibit 4 appear to be a true and correct copy? I should have gotten you a sandwich. Have a cookie. Think it will help? Yeah, I really can't speak in plain English. I got to use lawyer jargon as much as I understand. That is correct. That's your signature on the 3rd page? Right, yes, and that's a document that Mr. Tyrell discussed with you and presented to you for your signing? Yes. Did he explain what that document meant? He explained it his way. The significant part was that you were agreeing to make payments on a monthly basis. Correct. He discussed that part with you, didn't he? Right. In fact, you requested that the time frame for making the payments be pushed back a little bit. Do you recall that? I believe so. You were initially given strike that. In fact, paragraph 7 reflects the modification or change in the date of payments from payments beginning on, I recall that, May 22, and it moved them initial payment back to June 15 of 2006, correct? Right. That was done at your request, right? And at the time you read this document, you agreed to the contents of the document, right? And you agreed to be subjected to the terms of the document, yes. Why haven't you made any payments pursuant to this agreement? Money tight. I'm sorry, money. I didn't have the money. I hope to be able to raise the money. Didn't happen. I'm almost done if you bear with me. Okay. Mr. Saul, at the time we noticed your deposition for today, we requested you bring certain documents with you in response to the deposition notice. Do you recall that? Yes. And what we asked for were documents regarding your income from. One of the items we requested were tax returns from 2002 through 2007. I presume you haven't prepared a 2007 return yet, have you? Haven't done 06. I think you brought with you 01 through 04. 04, right. Is that correct? 05 has been done. It's not in there. They're being copied now. We'll get them back in a minute. Let's go off the record. I want to ask you a few questions about your general state of health in the last couple months. We've established on the record already that you suffer from diabetes. Have you had any other health problems in the last couple of years? Well, I had at least one heart attack since 2005. I don't remember if the other heart attack was after. I think that was after 05. They were both after 05. Both after 05. I had several angina attacks. They didn't really classify as heart attacks per se, but they were right there. Then I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I think that was before 05. Accordingly, let's see, when I was in the hospital for the last heart attack, I got a staph infection from the hospital that caused some serious problems in the hospital for a week on the IV pack. I carried around the pumps for another 3 weeks after that. Now I'm being treated for prostate problems, spinal surgery. I had back surgery, and I've had about 6 months after the back surgery from that point until now. There's been a lot of times I couldn't get around enough to get to work. That was going to be one of my questions. Have these health problems affected your ability to generate income? Yeah, from John's tree service, quite a bit. Are all of these things, with the possible exception of diabetes, have those been diagnosed since the time of this accident in October of 05? Yeah, what about the back surgery? Was that before or after? It was after. That was after too. So pretty much all these have been since 05. I'm not positive about that, counsel. It all happened around the same time, so I'm not positive either. All right, how much time since October of 05 have you spent in the hospital? Well, the longest period was a week actually in the hospital, and then about 3 or 4 times I've been in for just a day or a day or two. You mentioned something about you were on IVs, IV packs you could carry with you. Yeah, that was for the staph infection. That was for several weeks. Yeah. Excuse me. All right, back to our Q&A practice. Ready? That was for several weeks. Yeah. Now, under those conditions where you had to have IV, I wasn't able to do physical work. That was my question. All right. We're still behind from that. Couldn't work for a month or more there between the heart attack and the staph infection. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if Mr. Buford has any follow-up questions on that. Not now. Let's just get these documents. You know what? Let's shift gears and get closer to closing here. Mr. Saul, who holds title to the house that you currently reside in with your wife? It's my wife's house, but we refinanced and my name is on there now too. What is the approximate value of that home? Between 60 and 700,000. And how much do you owe on that piece of property? Somewhere between 50 and 60,000, I believe. I think you owe 68 if I'm not. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. The value might be a little more than that. How much equity do you think you have in the house? Probably very little. The market is not very good right now. Do you still own the 2001 Mercedes? Well, us and Chase Finance. How much do you owe on that vehicle? I don't know. I don't know because when they send the payment slips, it doesn't show the balance. I think it's a 5-year loan, and I think we've been paying on it for close to 2 years. I'd say probably owe 2/3 of the original cost. And that will conclude our Q&A practice.